Guys, welcome. If you haven't met me before, I'm Tom, the English hipster, and I teach real, natural British English. What do you think of my flags? They're pretty cool, right? The reason why I've got them is because today I'm going to teach you guys 10 idioms that are going to make you sound totally British. I'm talking like Emma Watson, Harry Styles. If you want to sound like them, then you're in the right place. Possibly the most British idiom of all is not my cup of tea. So if something is not your cup of tea, it means that you don't like it, or it's the kind of thing that you don't like doing. So for example, you might say, swimming's not really my cup of tea. Swimming is not really my cup of tea. And that just means that you don't like doing it. Maybe you prefer running or doing other things, but swimming, you don't like doing it. So it's not my cup of tea. We often use it in response to the question, do you like? So do you like running? Do you like running? I say, it's not really my cup of tea. And that just means I don't like doing it. So good. If something is a piece of cake, it is easy to do. Not a problem, not difficult at all. So obviously for you guys, learning English is a piece of cake, right? Okay, maybe not learning English. I know it can be difficult. But maybe you did an exam and it was an easy exam. So you come out of it and you tell your friend, oh, that was a piece of cake. And that just means that was really easy. I might say, I passed my driving test. It was a piece of cake. It was really easy. So if something is a piece of cake, it's really easy. I love, love, love this idiom. This one is to go pear-shaped. And it means that if a plan goes pear-shaped, it fails. It goes wrong. It's a disaster. So, for example, maybe I planned to do a Facebook Live lesson for you guys, and then there's no Wi-Fi, my phone breaks, someone calls on the phone, then the Facebook Live lesson goes pear-shaped, okay? It goes wrong. I wasn't successful, okay? So to go pear-shaped is such a great British idiom. Maybe I'm planning a weekend away with my family and then I get sick, I get ill, and maybe the car breaks down, it goes pear-shaped. So the weekend went pear-shaped. Brilliant idiom, sounds so British. See if you can use it in a sentence in the comments below. For donkey's years. This is a great phrase. Now, for donkey's years means a very long time. It doesn't have a specific time, not exactly 20 years or 100 years or 2 weeks. There's no set time. It just means a long time. So I could say, I haven't seen you in donkey's years. And that means I haven't seen you for a long time. Or I haven't been to the gym for donkey's years. I haven't been to the gym for donkey's years. And again, that just means I haven't been for a long time. Again, in your language, what do you say? Do you have a similar idiom? Is it for horses' years or for cows' years? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments below. 2 idioms for one here. The first one, across the pond. Now here, the pond, usually it's a small amount of water. In this idiom, it means the Atlantic Ocean. Either side of the Atlantic Ocean, we have Britain and we have the United States. So in Britain, when we talk about across the pond, we are talking about in America, in the United States. And then if you're in the United States and they're saying across the pond, it means in Britain. For example, if I was in Britain and I said, Harry Styles is really popular across the pond, that means that Harry Styles is really popular in America. In addition, we say down under to mean Australia, because I guess we think that they're the other side of the world, so they're down there somewhere. So if you're saying, it's really hot down under, it means it's really hot in Australia. Or Harry Styles is really popular down under, it means Harry Styles is popular in Australia. I don't know what they say for us, up and over, I don't know. It's a nice idiom here, cheap as chips. It just means something is really cheap, okay? So opposite of expensive, cheap. Someone might say, oh, I love your jacket. How much did it cost? You say, oh, it was cheap as chips. Just means it's really cheap. I guess because chips are quite cheap here, so it's as cheap as chips. Maybe in other countries it's as cheap as something else. Let me know in the comments below if you have a similar phrase. It's as cheap as, so cheap as, I don't know, something else, apples, or cheap as mangoes, or whatever it might be. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what your idiom is for the same phrase. So if something is really cheap, what do you say in an idiomatic form? This is a fun one. Pardon my French, or excuse my French. So if you say pardon my French, it's because you've used, or you are going to use, a rude word. Now obviously I know you guys don't use rude words, and neither do I, of course. Pardon my French, but that guy's a real I didn't say it, I didn't say anything. So you can have a lot of fun with it, but remember, you know, I don't use bad language. I hope you don't need to use bad language either. We can communicate without using bad words. This next phrase, to do a runner. So this means to leave a place or a situation to avoid something unpleasant. Commonly, it's used maybe to describe leaving a restaurant without paying. Okay, so maybe at the end of at the end you get your bill and you just leave without paying. It's not very cool, but this is to do a runner. To avoid a situation by leaving very quickly, very hastily. It's not usually very cool to do a runner. But yes, I think in a restaurant is probably the context that we use it most. So I've never done a runner. There we are, that's the example sentence. I've never done a runner from a restaurant. It means I've never left without paying. I promise. I promise. I love this idiom, itchy feet. So itchy is that feeling that we get maybe when a mosquito bites us and then, oh, it's very itchy. You want to scratch it. So that's the feeling, itchy feet, but it doesn't have the same meaning. Itchy feet has a totally different meaning. It means that you want to do something different or go somewhere different than where you are now. So often we feel it maybe when we are in one place and we want to go somewhere different. So for example, when I'm in London, I love being here, but I also want to go and travel somewhere else, somewhere new, go to a beach in Thailand, or go to walk around the city of Rome or Barcelona or Venice or something. So it's that feeling of wanting to go somewhere different or do something different. You can't do something to save your life. Can't do something to save your life. This is a great phrase, really natural. So if you can't do something to save your life, it's a very exaggerated way to say that you are rubbish at doing it. You're not very good at doing it. Let me give you an example. I am a terrible drawer. I cannot draw. When I try to draw fingers and it looks like big potatoes, it's a disaster. So I would say I can't draw to save my life. I can't draw to save my life. And that just means I'm rubbish at drawing. I'm not very good at drawing. This is a great phrase. I can't do something to save my life. So another example, I can't speak French to save my life. I learnt French for 6 years, something like that, and I'm terrible. It's embarrassing. Je suis désolé, which I think means I'm sorry, I think. So I can't speak French to save my life. Just means I'm terrible at speaking French. Guys, have I left any British English idioms out? Which ones have I forgotten? Please let me know in the comments below. And you can also teach your other Eat Sleep Dreamers as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. Remember to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, share this with anyone that you know that's learning English, and let's help as many people as we can learn English together. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This is Tom, the English hipster, saying goodbye. Oh, that's so good. Good cup of tea. Honestly, a good cup of tea, it just makes everything all right in the world. You just feel calm, relaxed, all your worries disappear. Oh, so good. Cheers.